Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is TCG Gamer here, and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, I'm bringing you guys my NPL Majors Week 2 match, on which we're playing David, who's the coach of the FC Popplio. David drafted a very threatening team this season. His team consists of Mega Kangaskhan, greninja, which can only run Torrent, but doesn't make it any less of a threat. Skarmory, Terrakion, Comfey, Jolteon, Decidueye, Donphan, Cresselia, Malamar, Venomoth, and Simisear. So David did opt to draft all 12 Mons that he could. He definitely has a very threatening team. Things like Mega Kangaskhan, Greninja, and Terrakion are just very scary to switch into. But I believe the team that I've prepped is the best, does the best job that I can do versus his team. Now, my team of Mons, as you guys can see, is Excadrill, Lycanroc, Dusk, Slowbro, Tangrowth, Gyarados, and Mienshao. So I don't really have the best switch-ins to Greninja. I'll be the first one to note that. Even though you guys will see my Tangrowth set in a little bit, it is Assault Vest. Even something like a Specs Ice Beam is a roll to 2 Gale with no rocks, I'm pretty sure. So like I do have pivots if he is locked into like a Specs Ice Beam, but it's still a very hard mon to play around, and he also has the option to Spike, which, as you guys can also see, 5 of my mons take the Spike, so that is going to be very important to not have Spikes up. This first Pokemon, obviously Excadrill, its job is this week he's going to be keeping those Spikes off the field with Rapid Spin. David does have a Ghost type in Decidueye, but if he wants to Spin Block, he's going to have to take a Toxic. So our set is Rapid Spin, Stealth Rocks, Toxic, and Earthquake with the Mold Breaker. We don't really need the Sand ability, because we're not bringing Hippopotas, and this allows us to hit the Cresselia with Earthquake. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to hit it. Obviously, we can't hit Skarmory, but Excadrill can't really hit Skarmory in general, so I just decided not to be able to touch it. So we have this is our Stealth Rocker this week. His removal consists of Skarmory, I think Comfey, and Decidueye as defoggers, and then Donphan as a Rapid Spinner. I either think that he will bring Hazard Stack with Donphan, or he will bring Hazard Stack with this no removal. This is the extra set, like I said. What it's here to do is pretty much stop Jolteon and Comfey from doing anything in this match. Obviously, he could bring like a Calm Mind, HP Ground Comfey or something, but if it's an offensive Comfey, it's taking like way over half from Earthquake. And if it's a max HP, max defense bold Comfey, even though I don't have Iron Head, Earthquake with my 176 attack investment and the plus attack is still doing a good amount of damage. Easily about 2 KOing it. It's a roll, but with rocks I easily 2 KO the Comfey, and it cannot outstall my Earthquakes because it only has Synthesis as recovery or Leech Seed. So yeah, and then Toxic, like I said, pretty self-explanatory. I can toxic things like the Donphan, the Cresselia, and the Decidueye, which otherwise aren't going to do. I'm not going to do a ton of damage with Earthquake. And this thing is also here to semi-check Venomoth, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be hard for me to take something like a +1 Buggy MZ because of Tinted Lens. So you guys will see. I did my best to prep around Venomoth, I think, just with the priority I brought, and you guys will see right now. My second mon is Lycanroc Dusk with the Swords Dance, the Drill Run, the Stone Edge, and the Accelerock. With the Lycanium Z, once again, this is literally the same exact EV spread, moves, and item that I brought last week. I don't really have to be versatile with this Lycanroc. It just does very well with this kind of set. Drill Run is there to hit the Terrakion, which obviously resists Stone Edge. Things like the Donphan are gonna wall me, but things like the Cresselia and the Skarmory, at +2, the Z move is going to do a lot of damage to both of those, so those really aren't the best switch-ins. And like I said, Terrakion has to be Scarf, or else I think it almost dies to a +2 Drill Run. Probably not completely dies at full, but if I have chip damage, obviously it would. So the Dawn Fan is the main thing that is going to be able to counter me. But another thing this thing helps with is it gives me priority for Venomoth. So that's very nice. So that's pretty much it for Lycanroc. Pretty straightforward set. Obviously the speed, like last week for outspeeding Cobalion, this is set to outspeed Terrakion. So that's pretty much it for Lycanroc Dusk. And another thing with the Z move, I can do a ton of damage to something like Kangaskhan, which is super bulky if I need to. Next up we have Slowbro this week, and I knew that Kangaskhan was a huge threat because it can run pretty much Toxic, Return, Wish, and Protect or Substitute, and completely just run through my team. And because Rocky Helmet is not going to be enough this week, I wanted to make sure my switch into Kangaskhan also had Rest, so sets like Toxic could not beat me as well. So we have Rest, Sleep Talk, Scald, and Foul Play, just max defense with the Regenerator, obviously. Scald is just a nice attack in general. It can burn things like the Mega Kangaskhan, potentially, or the Greninja. I can't really hit Greninja, but if I can burn it, I will take that. The Foul Play is for things like Decidueye, so if he tries the Swords Dance on this thing, obviously I can Foul Play and that'll OHKO it if it sets up to +2. As well as Foul Play could be useful for something like if Kangaskhan wanted to Power Punch, I could Foul Play. And Rest Sleep Talk, obviously, I just don't want to. I couldn't afford to bring Mega Altaria with Heal Bow to help support Toxic Kangaskhan. So I just decided to bring Rest Talk. And yeah, this is pretty much my Mega Kangaskhan switching, as well as sort of my Terrakion switching, but this thing does die to a +2 Continental Crush like 80% of the time. I think the roll's like 97 to 115. It might actually just be an OHKO, but either way, if he does bring Terrakion with the Z move, we have to be careful of that. So that's pretty much Slowbro. Next up we have Tangrowth with the Assault Vest, with the Regenerator, obviously. The max special attack or special defense that we can get, because just how big of a threat Greninja is. We have the Grass Knot, which breaks subs for Mega Kangaskhan. We have Giga Drain, we have Knockoff, and we have Poison Jab. So Giga Drain, obviously, just for a second Grass Stab that gives me recovery. Knockoff to get rid of items on things like Skarmory, Comfey, Cresselia, and anything else that wants to lose its item. And then Poison Jab, that is something that hits the Comfey. Honestly, I didn't really need another move on it. I could have put something. I really just didn't know what else I wanted to put. So I wanted Poison Jab just to hit the Comfey, just to have another thing to hit it. And so I can't freely set up Calm Minds on me. I can knock off and Poison Jab it. So that's pretty much my my Tangrowth set. Next up we have probably the weirdest set that I brought this week, a Choice Scarf Gyarados with Toxic, Waterfall, Crunch, and Sleep Talk. So obviously it's a very, very weird set. But this thing is mainly something that I could possibly sweep with late game, but it just gives me something to check the Terrakion. That is the main reason I wanted this thing. Outside of this, my things that outspeed Terrakion are, I could have brought a Scarf Mienshao, but that thing is another set this week, and Lycanroc, which obviously it's not doing a ton with Drill Run, but with the Scarf Waterfall, I'll be able to OHKO Terrakion most of the time, I'm pretty sure, unless it has a good amount of bulk investment. The speed that I'm running this week, I think, is it definitely outpaces Greninja, but I definitely want Adamant too for the better roll with Waterfall into Terrakion, and potentially late game this thing could clean up with Waterfall depending on what's left. So that's another thing. And I think what I'm outspeeding, I don't even outspeed Jolteon. So I'm not really sure what I was outspeeding. I did build this team a while ago, but the main point is it's able to outspeed everything non-Scarf that isn't Jolteon, and it's there to check the Terrakion, and it could also take a Sleep Powder from Venomoth if I need to, and possibly Sleep Talk a Waterfall. Obviously that is 33%, but it's a possibility. So that is it for Gyarados. And the last mon that I have on my team is a mon that I added for a very solid Kangaskhan check, and also to give me a secondary form of priority in case Drill Run doesn't pick off the the Venomoth, and that Pokemon is Mienshao. So we have a Life Orb Regenerated Mienshao this week. I wanted to be able to keep this thing healthy rather than hit harder with the Reckless Jump Kick. And even without Reckless, I'm still 2-hit KOing to something like Scarm. And this week we have Fake Out for the priority, U-turn, Poison Jab, and High Jump Kick. So I don't really need any other coverage on this. I could have opted for Knockoff, but I valued hitting the Comfy over the Decidueye because I can just U-turn now on the Decidueye instead. So Poison Jab obviously for the Comfy, Fake Out for the priority, and High Jump Kick for everything else. U-turn hits the Malamar. Also can U-turn out on the Crest if it switches into me. U-turn on the Decidueye, and yeah, that is actually pretty much my Mienshao set. So that's pretty much my team, guys. I will see you guys in the battle. And we're back, guys, and we have the battle versus David, or the replay, I mean. As you guys can see, he brought a team of Skarmory, Decidueye, Comfy, Mega Kangaskhan, Greninja, and Venomoth. Pretty much everything I expected. No Terrakion was the only thing I noticed, which is very nice because my switch-ins to +2 Terrakion don't exist with the Z move. And not seeing Terrakion also makes Gyarados' job a little bit less important, but it still can do some work. It could spread Toxic potentially, depending on if Skarmory is dead or very low. Could check a Venomoth if it doesn't have a speed boost, obviously, or if it's just bulky and doesn't outspeed me for some reason. And like it can absorb Sleep Powder because obviously, as you guys saw in the team builder, it has Sleep Talk. So as for leads in this game, I decided to lead off with Mienshao because it's my best lead versus Greninja and Kangaskhan. And even though I don't outspeed Greninja, the first time I'm in with Mienshao versus Greninja, if that's the first time I'm in at least with Mienshao, he's gonna scout for Scarf, I assume. Unless he just 100% knows that I'm not Scarf. But based on my team, I would probably assume that my Mienshao is Scarf. Because that could also check something like a +1 Venomoth with Stone Edge. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to lead off with my Mienshao, as he leads off with his Kangaskhan. Now right here, I considered clicking High Jump Kick for a good amount of time, but I decided to just click U-turn just because on the off chance he went out into his Decidueye, or if he had Protect on Kangaskhan. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to U-turn as he actually stays in, making a very, very nice play, bold play, but and he just toxics my Slowbro. So now I'm not in the best spot. I'm going to be forced to rest at some point, but I'm assuming he thinks that I'm not rest, maybe. So he just wishes up. I'm just going to Scald, break his sub. And you guys can see I struggle to break his sub with Scalds. But it's fine. I'm just going to rest up. And now I'm just going to start firing off Sleep Talk. Because if you want to switch out into something like Greninja, I could possibly get a Sleep Talk and get a Scald Burn. So right here, Sleep Talk Foul Play as he wishes. As he reveals he's Sleep Powder as his mono attack. Which isn't that bad for me. I just Sleep Talk again, get Foul Play. So he's not doing a ton of damage to me, as you guys saw, 23. So I'm just going to stay in. At this rate, I can pretty much PB stall this Kangaskhan if like he was to stay in this whole time. Right here, I think I just rest right away, just so I have this Toxic off me. And he goes into his Skarmory. So I think I just Sleep Talk here. I'm trying to get Scald, as I do get rest, which is fine. As he goes into his Decidueye, and at this point, I foul play here, just in case he set up an SD. But as you guys can see, he sets up a nasty play, and at this point, I am fearful for what he's going to do with this nasty play. He could, I thought if he was like nasty play 2 attacks roost, I was done. I thought this game was over. I didn't really have a way to beat that well, but you guys are gonna see right here as I foul play, pop the Cold Berry, do not much damage. I'm just going to go hard on my Gyarados as he baton passes. And now I'm just not in a good spot at all. As he Draining Kisses right here, but he lost me off a Toxic, which is very, very nice for me. If he went to Venomoth, he definitely would have claimed a kill there. because he would have lived a waterfall. But as you guys are going to see a few turns later, his Venomoth is actually Scarf. So if he passed into that, it was pretty much guaranteed he would have got a kill. But now I have a Toxic off in this thing. And now I'm freely able to go into my X-Drill, because I'm going to be eating a +2 Draining Kiss fairly easily. So that's what I do. I go into my X-Drill, and as he does Draining Kisses, doing 21. And obviously with lefties back up to 82. I think right here I just fire off an EQ, I want to say. Or no, I get my own rocks. Definitely that was the best play. And now I just spin, because if he goes to Sidgewai, I can just Toxic it. As he whirlwinds out, and now I'm just gonna high jump kick. I knew I was pretty positive that he would not go into it as the Sidgewai on that turn specifically. I thought he would just stay in and get up his rocks again. So I just high jump kicked, and then now this next turn, let me just is he actually goes for Toxic and misses, so that's pretty big that he doesn't go for his rocks. So now if I get this turn right and he stays in on this high jump kick, I'm in a very good spot. If I U-turn as he stays in, though, I'm in a very, very bad spot. And this is just a huge mind game here. Like, I know he needs his Skarmory because, for one, X-Drill is a huge pain without Skarmory. And two, he can get up his rocks later in the game. Still, versus a couple of my members. Pretty much Tangrowth. It can get up versus Tangrowth, Slowbro, and X-Drill, I would say. So I predict him to stay in, predicting me to U-turn. So I just high jump kick here, and that pays off very, very well. Now X-Drill is in an amazing spot this game, and now I'm able to just switch out my Venomoth, or I mean, I don't switch out my Mienshao. I tried to U-turn, in case this was Quiver Dance. I was just gonna go into my X-Drill. But he turns out to be Scarf, so my Mienshao is dead. But at this point, it's not a huge issue. It's not the biggest issue in the world. I can still play around this Venomoth now that I know it's Scarf. So my Mienshao dies. Once again, not the biggest deal. I have ways to get around Kangaskhan. This is my only thing that O-code it, other than like a +2 Licanium Z. But I still have ways to get around the Kangaskhan. So, reveals to be Scarf, kills my Mienshao. Crit did not matter with the tinted lens. So now I go to my X-Drill, and I get to fire off a free Earthquake, as he does not have Skarmory anymore. And now he goes into this, and I'm just going to fire off, okay, I don't fire off a Toxic there, my bad. I just go into my Lycanroc. I assumed if he was mono attacking with Baton Pass and Nasty Plot, the mono attack would be Shadow Ball. Just hits my team, it hits my team most effectively compared to Energy Ball, where things like Tangrowth and Mega Altari resist. So I'm just going to set up a Sword Stance. He can Baton Pass if he wants. As you guys are going to see, it is Shadow Balls, doing 43. And right here, he gets the Spadef drop. If he didn't get the Spadef drop, I probably would have Stone Edged. But then again, the Z move just guaranteed me a kill rather than risking hitting. So there's that. So now he goes into his Greninja. Obviously, I'm not going to sack my Lycanroc because he still has the Venomoth, and having a Celerock for that in the back is very, very nice. I'm not sure what I go into, actually. I think I just go into my Tangrowth. Going into Tangrowth allows me to see if he's Specs. If he goes for like a Specs Dark Pulse or Specs Hydro, Specs any move, it'll tell me what kind of set he is. So he just goes for Water Shuriken. Doesn't really show me much. Obviously, he's not Specs. Would have done more than 2% on each hit. So now he's forced to switch out. Goes into his Sidgewai. I'm just going to Giga Drain. And then next turn, I think I just knock. Or no, I don't know. I go right into Gyarados because it was pretty obvious he was going to Nasty Ball on that turn. And obviously, I wouldn't knock because he already revealed the Colbur Berry. And because of that, I can just Crunch now. It's not to a KO, but it'll do enough to the point where something like Lycanroc can avenge him. So I'm just going to Crunch, doing 47, so doing around half as he Baton Passes into his Greninja. I'm just going to sack my Gyarados here, as he sees I'm Scarf now, to the Dark Pulse. And I know that because he didn't click, he's not Specs, he can't kill me with a +2 ice beam from full. A max, obviously with Spadef and the assault vest as well on top of that. So I'm gonna eat an ice beam right here. So he ice beams, does 60%. He calced it with his greninja, and the Pokemon damage calculators. It's kind of weird. Whenever you're calculating with greninja, it pretty much always sets its ability to protein. So in the calc, his greninja had that ability, and so the calc obviously said that it killed because it had the stat boost. So he clicked it, only did 60. Unfortunate that that happened, but either way, now he goes into his Kangaskhan. I think I just Grass Knot, preventing him from subbing immediately, as he wishes, as that does 31. As now he does Toxics, and I just Grass Knot again. Don't get the roll. I'm not actually sure what the roll was. I don't even know if like the first one was a high roll or something. But it doesn't really matter that my Tangrowth is toxic. It doesn't really have a purpose in this game at this point. Mainly, I just need my Slowbro, Lycanroc, and Extro to win. Tangrowth is just there, being preserved. So I just go into my Slowbro as he wishes and subs, but it really doesn't matter. At this point, I get to just spam Scald with my Slowbro. Even if it's not breaking, I get to use his PP, and he can now Wish Pass into his Decidueye. So now he goes, or now I double into my Extra as he gets the Wish back up to full. And I'm just going to Earthquake. I see Secret Powers here, and that only does a total of around 23%. And I'm just going to Earthquake. Earthquake's going to be doing a good amount of damage. I see the Secret Powers again right here, doing another 23. And I really don't need this particularly healthy anymore, as I have a Cell Rock to revenge the Venomoth, which I'm pretty sure at this point in the game, I want to say it was at it's at 51 next time it comes in, which is in range of in range of a Cell Rock. So I'm just gonna keep on. I think right here I actually Toxic, predicting him not to sub, obviously because he saw that Earthquake was doing 43. I predicted him to either Wish or to Secret Power again. So I just throw off that Toxic, and now this Kangaskhan cannot beat me. I'm just gonna go into my Slowbro, I think, here, as he makes a very nice play, as now he's able to get off a Roost. But I'm just gonna go back into my Extra, and right here he kind of has to make a play into his Venomoth, because Toxic, he's seen it already. It's very obvious that's all I can hit the Decidueye with, as Earthquake isn't gonna do a ton. So okay, and his Venomoth was actually at 76, so that's my bad. Or no, okay, it was at 51 after Rock, so I was right. So I just Earthquake, that goes down, and now Excadrill is kind of able to just clean up the game. I Toxic this as he Roosts, and now I'm just gonna go into my Tangrowth because this is Toxic. Or no, I Earthquake first, as he Shadow Balls. Does 32, gets the Spit Off drop. Now I'm gonna go into Tangrowth, preserve a little bit of differential. He's not going to be doing too much to me, even if he Roosts. I was in a fine spot. So now he's just going to Roost again. I'm just going to spam Knockoff, doing 27. As now I think he clicks Roost again. I'm going to click Knock. I think now I go into my Lycanroc on this turn to preserve a little bit of differential. So he does Roost. But at this point I'm just going to click Stone Edge, or I click Swords Dance, as he Shadow Balls, doing 44. And now this thing dies to Toxic, and now I'm just gonna click Drill Run because at +2 it's killing Kangaskhan. And that Toxic kill on Decidueye went to Extra. So good game to David. I feel like a few key turns were when he passed into his Comfey instead of his Venomoth. That was one turn, and then the other one was probably the calc with protein on Greninja. But either way, good game to David. I felt very well about the way I played. I think I played the game pretty well. I was happy with my prep as well, and Lycanroc is now has 5 kills, 0 deaths in its first 2 games with the Gotham City Golurks. So very, very happy about that. This is probably one of my favorite picks of my draft. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this week, guys. Next week we are playing Cheese, who we lost to last season. So hopefully we can get revenge. This is gonna be my second time playing him, or my third time. I can't really remember. But either way, that's gonna be it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.